right, shalom, shalom, Israel, Most High in Christ, bless you all. It's your brothers back at you with another episode of Sands of the Sea, all right, where we come at you with the local news, things happening on the islands of Hawaii, the islands of Oceania at large. We give you the perspective of the scriptures as well as the true and authentic experience of our people here in these parts of the world.
Right.
And that's really what we're going to get into tonight. I'm your host, Officer Hezeki, to my right.
Officer Ithiel.
All right, and we got another great show for you tonight. All right, hopefully you learn some things. And we, as always, we're going to give you the perspective of God once we go through these topics. All right, so give us a little insight on what we're going to be talking about tonight.
This is one of my favorite topics, you know what I'm saying? And one of the few times that I get to really talk about the experience here, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times I gotta kind of tone it down so brothers don't be getting discouraged and stuff. But tonight's a little different. We talking about the authentic experience for black people on the island, like the real inside look of how they are treated, how they are thought about, how they are perceived, and how they perceive themselves, right? And we're gonna go into the Bible, obviously, and filter our the experiences through the Bible.
Right. And the good part about that is, not only are we going to be able to filter through the Bible, but we can also provide our own experiences.
Yeah.
And, we're going to have some footage for you to prove and back up a lot of what we're saying so that no one can say, you guys are making that up.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talk to our people here. We know the issues that are going on here that cannot be said openly for fear of retribution, for fear of being ostracized. That's one of the biggest things out here is that you get cut off from access to things like a job, like housing, right? So these are the things that can happen here, which of course can happen anywhere. But when you're on a small island, a small community, that stuff gets passed around real quick.
Yeah.
Right. So these are some of the things. So there's a sister here that we're going to kind of take a look at. This is actually one of the more authentic perspectives that we're going to get when it comes to our people that are local to the islands of Hawaii, right? Not Hawaiian, but local, being born and raised sort of thing here in the islands of Hawaii. That's very different than what you'll hear when you're talking to, say, the visitor
or a new person
or
that just pulled up.
And when we say new, we're talking about anywhere from 1 to almost 4 or 5 years, right? That's really when you start to settle in and the scales fall off of your eyes. All right, it takes some time, right? It takes some time because you can get caught up in that nice weather and blue water.
The postcard.
The postcard, for sure. So let's take a look and see what the sister's saying.
It's also interesting that many people who live here feel like they're othered because of their blackness. Because blackness is seen as military or foreign or malihini. Even if people are very local, even if their genealogy extends over generations here in Hawaii, they often feel like they either have to explain that they're from here or prove that they're from here in a lot of different ways. And it's interesting because the things that mark people as being foreign are things like dark skin, which are part of the history of this place. There have been people with darker skin here for a long time. So that idea that those people, just by what their body looks like, are foreign is an imported idea because indigenous people here have traditionally been darker skinned, dark hair, curly hair. The idea that those indicators mean that you're not from here is something that has been totally brought in.
So you see what the sister said? She said that stuff is imported. It is brought in. And she's 100% correct.
Yeah.
And how do you think it was brought in? Christianity.
Missionaries, man.
Missionaries.
Yep.
Right? It all goes back to the white Jesus. It all goes back to Christianity and worshiping a white God. That's how it was brought in. All right? Because where else did the Hawaiians know to have a negative perspective on other black people? That was brought in. When you look into the history of so-called blacks, which we know as Judah, and their interactions with the native Hawaiian people, they were able to get along just fine. It was more so Esau that had the issue of how to get along with the natives. But once they brought in that white Jesus and their queen accepted Christianity, the game changed.
You got to make sure that accepted Christianity.
Wholeheartedly.
Accepted it.
Yes.
Right.
And married the white man.
Yep.
I think her name was Lily Ukalani. Was it Lily Ukalani or Kailani? Lily Ukalani.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So here we got. These are the queens, royal lineage that accepted white man Jesus. And with that comes all the doctrines. Let's real quick, before we get to the next one, let's get that real quick. 2 Corinthians 11. Let's start here real quick. Let's start here because the Jesus that is promoted by the white man, all right, is not the Jesus of the Bible. And it comes with another spirit. It comes with another spirit.
Yep.
Let's read that.
The book of,
yeah, you got it?
the book of 2 Corinthians, chapter 11, and verse 4.
Come on.
For if he that cometh preacheth another
It
Jesus.
says, if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus. All right. Bishop has been talking about the Solomon head of Christ.
Yeah.
All right. That is the Jesus that the world worships, but that is not the Jesus of the Bible. Jesus is described in the Bible as having woolly hair in texture and skin so dark it looked like it was burned in a furnace. That's not the Solomon head of Christ, which the world worships.
Yeah.
That's another Jesus. Paul had already warned us about that. But and after this, we'll find out, we'll show you that Christ warned us about it before Paul warned us about it. Because what comes with another Jesus is a whole nother philosophy, a whole nother outlook on life. And now all of a sudden, you despise God's people.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel.
You see that? Hold on. All of that. All of that. If ye receive another spirit. That's what the Christian church has. That's why the Christian church is the way that it is today. That you receive another spirit, right? Which is white supremacy.
Yeah.
Which is democracy. You just, once you accept white Jesus, you also accept their ideology because their white Jesus opens the door for bringing in their government and political ideologies. And now all the dark races of the earth have accepted that. Even here in Hawaii.
Yep.
And all the islands. I mean, we was in Molokai. It's a whole street.
That was crazy.
Church after church after church after church. Empty though. But
The
still.
church block.
Yeah, it's the church block. Even when we was on Big Island.
Yeah.
It was
And
churches all over the
When
place.
I say block, I don't want nobody getting confused like it's like a city street
No,
block.
you're right.
It was a stretch.
Yeah.
A stretch of just church property after back to back to back to
Yeah.
back. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
And it was like, okay, I don't want to be Pentecostal. I want to be Baptist.
Yeah.
Or here's a Jehovah's Witness. Or here's a, like literally you had your pick on the type of denomination you wanted to just
all
walk
on
into.
the same
Yeah.
strip of land.
We don't do that here. Go
Yeah.
next door. Like that's the way it was.
It was like that on the Nile too.
Yeah.
The lines are a lot smaller, but it's
Yeah.
the same setup. The same
Absolutely.
setup.
Absolutely. Read that again.
For if he that cometh preacheth another Jesus, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which ye have not received, or another gospel.
Even another gospel. You know what the gospel is? The gospel is that this black man is going to come and redeem his people
Yeah.
and subdue all the nations under his foot. And the Israelites will be returned to their rightful place as the rulers of the world in righteousness. That's the gospel. So when you accept this other Jesus, you're going to also get what? Another gospel, right? I mean, how we get this? I'm sorry. Oh, because she was talking about it being imported.
Nah.
I'm just saying, I know it's a Christian church. It always goes back to the Christian church. It always does.
100%.
Goes back to white Jesus all the time. He's the
100%.
devil that the Bible speaks of.
Right, and the thing is, if that makes you uncomfortable, despite knowing all the stuff that he has done on this earth, it's because you have received another spirit.
Exactly.
That's what it is. I don't like talking about that stuff, but you can see them blowing up everything. You can read the history books of them shredding our people into pieces, and then you'll be like, it's not all of them. It's not all of them. You got another spirit.
Yeah,
You got another spirit.
100%. 100%. Just finish it out.
Which ye have not accepted, ye might well bear with him.
Right. And you read verse 3, he's saying that I fear that you be beguiled, which means be tricked. All right, being tricked. So I know we didn't include that, but if you read up and start at verse 3, Paul is actually talking about being beguiled by the serpent, just like Eve. All right, being tricked, right, and you accepting another gospel. All right, so that's what it's going into, and that's what we're showing when the sister was bringing out the fact that the racist idea of having other black people or brown people that look just like them in opposition, in you know,
just being in a wall of opposition for them, right? So they'll look at themselves, they'll be like, I'm brown,
right,
you brown,
right.
They got this Howley over here who's not like us,
right.
but I'm gonna take his side.
Right.
I'm gonna take
against
his perspective. I'm gonna take his spirit.
Right.
And it's gonna be to your detriment.
Absolutely.
So now when I look at you, I see what they see.
There you go. There you go. White Jesus.
Yep.
White Jesus. And that's crazy. That is crazy.
Yep.
What she also said, she talked about how you could be from here, and still not be seen as local. Or having to always prove yourself.
Yeah, you always got to say, I'm from here. You got to explain. I happened to me the other night.
Yeah.
To a person, I've been living in the same place for a while.
Yeah.
And the guard comes out, because I get a package. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yo, I got your package, right? And I was like, all right, cool. So I go down there. He's like, so you from here? I was like, bro, what the hell?
Right.
Like I done encountered you 100 times. He was like, you in the military? No.
But that's what she said.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what she said. She said to be black, black means you're from the military. All right. And it's truth. That is truth. It's automatically assumed. I mean, hey, full disclosure, I get military discounts on stuff, and I've never been in the military. All right. You want to say I'm in the military?
That's your business.
Yeah. You said it. I didn't say it. I'll take that 10%. Thank you. All right. So I'm just saying, like, that it's just automatically associated with military, and it's a very different reality when you're actually living in the community. This is something we have to always tell brothers and sisters about being here, because you will get fed the postcard and not really get the authentic of what it's like when you're not in the military and you live in the community. Yeah. It's a very different thing, and that this sister was actually giving you a glimpse into that. All right, a glimpse into that. You got anything else on her before we get to the other side of the spectrum?
No.
Okay.
I want to get to the
well. So now here we go,
brother.
Now here we go on this one. We're gonna look at another clip, which is what is more familiar, right? This is the more familiar approach, and it's not the truth, right? It pedestalizes the local community instead of saying what it is. Mm-hmm. Hey, y'all are treating me like crap, and I don't think it's fair, and some of your aloha spirit stuff is propaganda, because you don't really give it to people that look like me, right? And so this is what you get on the other end. But when you start to dissect what he's saying, if you're from here, you can notice some of the places where he himself is ignorant to what's really going on.
And if you look at the title of the video, it says "Black in Hawaii: What It's Really Like from a Local." Right. From a local. Right. But people that be here understand the difference in speech, right? You could tell a person that just live here for now and a person that been here. Right. Right. For sure. But he's addressing it as if he really like from a local. Yeah. So that's the trick bag too.
And by the way, he has seen his video was grabbed by the local community and then just promoted like crazy. Seen tens of thousands of times.
If we could translate it for the mainland, it's basically like when you got a coon that's supported by the white people, and you be like, this nigga. Right. Like, that's how it is. That's how it is here too. Like when you embrace that aloha stuff, then they be like, all right, cool. We will pat you on the back and parade you around saying, see, he likes it. Right. See, he's a good one. Yeah. Why can't you be like him?
Right. Absolutely. Yep. And being like him means you got to be gay.
Why are you gay?
In this video, I'm talking about being black in Hawaii.
See what I mean?
Do I feel safe here? What about the police? How does it feel to be pulled over? What about discrimination or racism? What's it like to work in Hawaii for someone who wasn't born here? Well, we're talking about it all. So let's go. First of all, I love it here.
Wait, you heard that? What? The first thing he said, I love it here. That's all it takes.
Hey, it's real quick. I know we just got it going, right? Pause it. Right. If you notice the things that he brought up, right, it's all the things that you worry about when you move to a place, and he's just like brought here to just quell niggas of all their concerns, right? What's it like to be pulled over?
Right.
What's the racism like?
Right.
That type of like, what is that what you was thinking about when you moved to Hawaii or when you trying to visit Hawaii? Here's what's it's the reality of the situation that he's just put up there to quell. That's what it is. That's what it is. Go ahead.
Both of those feel being in this scan. It just is what it is. And working an office job downtown Honolulu was such a great experience for me. So much so that I still keep in touch with some of my former colleagues and my former boss. What's up, Scott? Everybody deserves a boss who is cool.
Can't take this.
He's not current. He's talking about a past experience.
Yeah.
All right. So just understand, like, his level of knowledge, it's very surface level. All right. He's giving us something that he used to do.
Yeah.
And he probably came here on vacation, it seemed like, and was talking about what he remembers from back in the day. It almost seems like he's reminiscing, not that he's living it. You know what I'm saying? So go ahead.
Okay? You just do. I have no idea if he'll see this, but just so
I ain't never spoke about none of my bosses like that ever.
And y'all,
this
I
is
was
weird.
so nervous about working here, but more on that later. One thing about living here is that I don't have to have my head on swivel all the time, meaning I don't have to be hyper aware of everything around me all the time. And y'all, it's so peaceful here. I moved here from Los Angeles, and living in a big city just makes you hyper aware.
Now, that's true to an extent. That's true to an extent. We're not trying to make it seem like this is LA. It's not LA, right? That is true to an extent. You don't want to be oblivious though, because you might get bopped in the head, especially with the e-bike gangs rolling the streets these days. All right, yeah, we're seriously e-bike gangs rolling the streets.
Funny.
Yeah, but it's serious. All right. Well, serious to us. I know y'all on the mainland probably laughing at us, right? The e-bike gangs in Hawaii.
What does that mean?
Right. It's just what it sounds like. So the thing about it is that because there isn't a large population of Jake, all right, and because the culture is different, there is a different level of peaceable nature between the locals. They're raised different than we are, right? So they understand ohana and family. There was a time where you would get shamed, right? You don't want to bring shame to your family name, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So there is something to be said for that. Now, it's shifting these days. Don't get me wrong. It's beginning to shift. But, you know, what he's saying about it not being as dangerous and you not having to be as uptight, that is true. That is true. And I think that's where people get lost in the sauce, because everything in Hawaii is passive aggressive, right? It's not about directly coming at you and fighting you. It's about keeping you off that job. It's about making sure you don't get that paycheck. It's about making sure you can't qualify for that house. I don't have to fight you to push you out, right? So it's different. That's all. I just want to highlight it is different.
And them same people that are doing that will smile in your
face. Yep.
Like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? I just sent an email that's gonna stop you from living here anymore.
Exactly.
Right? And they'll just have a casual conversation with you while destroying you.
Yeah. Behind closed doors.
Yep.
So that is, I just wanted to not make it seem like we're trying to put extra on it. That is true. But the way that they move in Hawaii is just different.
Yeah.
All right. We're still under attack. We are still under siege. It's just different.
It looks different.
It looks different. All right. Go ahead. Jump into energy.
But I have to tell you about this one experience. This older woman was coming toward me one day, and it was the way that she was looking at me. And this is what I go back to, like the energy that people put off. She was walking towards me, and she had her head like tilted to the side a little bit, and her lips were pursed, and she was like looking as if she wanted to say, "What are you doing here?" And she did not say that, but the energy she was giving me was putting that out there. And it was really interesting because when that happens, I'm always like, is this really happening? Like, is she? But it was almost like she was trying to understand what I was doing in Hawaii. And I'm like, lady, I live here. This is my home now. But I could tell just the way she was looking at me that she was uncomfortable, and she kept staring the whole time. And it wasn't like that stare like, oh, I think I know you from somewhere. No, it wasn't that. It was like, what are you doing here? Like, if she were to have spoken to me, she would have said, what are you doing here? It's weird to feel that because I don't, again, feel that anywhere else I go on the island. But in Waikiki, I feel it sometimes. And it hasn't happened a whole lot of times, but it's happened
Nigga.
more than a few.
All right. So that right there is it in a nutshell, right? The lady was thinking it. She didn't say it, but you can feel how she's moving towards you. That's exactly what we're talking about when we talk about how things are done here. It's not the same direct aggressive nature, but it's in subtleties.
Yeah.
It's in how they move. It's in the little comments they make. It's in those little things that let you know that they don't receive. You heard she said she was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
How do I make you uncomfortable?
It reminds me of, like, when you see like a Karen, a white lady or
Yes.
whatever, on the mainland,
Right.
and she's like, "Do you live here?
Yeah.
Are you allowed to be in this pool?
Can I help you?
Right,
Yeah.
but they'll directly interact with you. Here, they'll look at you and be like, "You're not supposed to be here."
Yeah.
Then call the police.
Yeah.
Right. That's how Lindani Maini got killed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's the passive aggressive nature that you were talking about.
Absolutely. And we've had the police call on us a few
Yeah.
times, just walking around Waikiki, talking with brothers and sisters, bringing out this truth, letting them know who they are. And the police came up to us and basically said that somebody called the police on us, said we was, I don't know what they said we was doing.
One of the first ones they said we was out there asking people for money.
That's okay. That was one.
I
of
was
them.
like, bruh.
That was you heard that. That was one of them. Meaning it's
Yeah.
happened like more than once. But yeah, go ahead.
Another time it was like for weed smoke or something like that, and I was like, "You're in Waikiki,
Right.
Like the weed smoke is everywhere.
Everywhere,
What
right.
made y'all point us out?
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying? We got Bibles.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, and that's some of the stuff, like, you're automatically the target. It's the same thing here. Just the approach is different.
Absolutely.
The approach is different.
Real quick, let's get Matthew 10. And I'm sorry, Matthew 24:9.
Gotcha.
Matthew 24:9. And the reason why is because, what the scriptures do for us is it opens our eyes so that we aren't Israel is not confused when things happen to us. We know why these things are happening.
Yeah.
We know what's going on. You know how confused and shocked he was? That's how people act here when things are similar to the mainland. Like, I didn't know that they would feel like that about me here.
Yeah.
Why? Christ already said you're going to be hated of all nations. Are you going to be hated of all nations? You should not be confused. Now, I know earlier we were talking about how it got here, but nonetheless, Christ already prophesied and already told us that was going to happen. All right? None of these nations want to see us on top. Don't make no mistake. I don't care if they smile at you.
Apparently, they don't even want to see us in general.
There we go. Absolutely. Oh, we're going to get that next in
hell
Wisdom of
is
Solomon.
this?
Read that.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Ye shall be hated of all nations. All nations means all nations. So when we are traveling and you travel from the mainland, you come to Hawaii, and you expecting this to be paradise like it was sold to you, and you find that the people are kind of looking at you strange. They're looking at you, making you feel uncomfortable. It's because the Lord already told us that we would be hated of all nations.
Mhm.
It's just different here. It's just different. You made a comment, officer, that made a lot of sense. Wisdom of Solomon, you said they don't even like looking at us.
Yeah.
What is that? They don't like beholding us. Is
Yeah,
that
I
Wisdom
think
of
it's-
Solomon?
I think it might be chapter 2, but I
Yeah.
could be tripping.
2:15.
Yep.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 15. Because people don't realize the depths of the way other nations feel about us. Again, the scriptures make everything clear.
Yeah.
What does it say? Making wise the simple.
Yeah. Psalm 19.
Psalms 19 and 7. It makes wise the simple. We're the simple, right? That's why he's so confused, because confusion of face. He's simple, right? We were also the simple, but because of these scriptures, it has made us wise to what's actually going on. So we're not confused. When that happens, you're like, yep,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
And it'd be weird when Jake be surprised about stuff. I'd be like, how long you been here, bro?
Right.
20 years? And this is shocking you? This is
Exactly.
shocking you?
Yeah. But that's because it's shocking them, because once the trauma happens,
They forget it.
They forget it
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah.
Because they go right back to the pedestalizing of the propaganda, right? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Read that.
Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2 and verse 15. He is grievous unto us, even to behold.
He is grievous to us, right? Talking about us, talking about the children of Israel. He is grievous to he is grievous unto us, even to behold. I can't stand looking at that nigga.
Yep.
I don't even like looking at that nigga. Why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
Fool, we the gods of the earth.
Right.
What do you mean, why am I? We supposed to own this. But due to our sin and the sins of our fathers, now these are your rulers. They look at us crazy.
That should be a point of frustration for every brother, right? The Chinese woman that's out there feeding 1,200 cats,
Oh God, let's
right?
not get on them.
She rules over you, right? The one that owned the store, and then they looking at you as you go in there, or they not let you in there until you bring your Korean wife in there. Brothers be forgetting about that stuff. There was a brother that tried to go into the grocery store, and they said, no, you can't come in here unless you bring your Korean wife in here. Like, that be the stuff that be going on, and brothers forget. To even behold you, to look at you is disgusting. I need you to bring your wife. And that's why brothers come out here and they have to get married to the other nations.
Yep, that's
or else
why.
they won't be able to even get groceries.
Yep.
They won't be able to shop. They won't be able to get a place to live. They gotta attach themselves to the other nations.
That's exactly right. That is what we run into often. Remember, that's a part of what this show is about, is to give you the perspective of what Israel deals with out here. And one of the reasons why Israel is the Jakes that are out here is so opposed to coming into this truth is because they have married into the other nations for survival, but it has become snares and traps. Because that's what the scriptures say would happen when you deal with the other nations. All right, in Joshua chapter 23. All right. Let's get Hawaii in a nutshell for the black and brown, the black and Hispanic experience. It's in Sirach. What's the scripture that say delicate fare?
In another man's house?
Yeah, let's get that.
Like 20-ish. Let me look.
Let's get that.
It's
29.
29 and 22.
Let's get that. All right, so read that. Sirach 29 and 20. 22.
Sirach chapter 29 and verse 22. Better is the life of a poor man in a mean cottage than delicate fare in another man's house.
That's what Hawaii is. It's delicate fare in another man's house. Yeah, the weather's nice. We can't front. The weather's nice. The water's blue.
Look at the background.
Right. Right.
Look amazing.
Right. Right. Some of you have been out here and come and visited us out here. Mm-hmm. It's beautiful. But it's still delicate fare in another man's house. And at any moment, they remind us that you're not really a local, even when you're a local.
Yeah.
Right? So, hey, just because we're not in the mainland, we're still pilgrims and strangers here. We're still wandering the earth. We're still not home, even though the Lord has chosen Hawaii for our place of captivity. Mm-hmm. It's still captivity. We're still under the dominant races. We still fall to the bottom of that. And even when we try and marry in, it is of no value.
Can you read verse 21?
Mm-hmm.
Read verse 21.
Verse 21. The chief thing for life is water and bread, and clothing, and house to cover shame.
There are levels of survival that are different here in Hawaii, right? To get those chief things for life, right? A lot of these brothers and stuff that we meet, like they act like it's all good, but then you see them begging for a place to stay on the Facebook groups, right? You see them, just kind of they're worn out from the trials and stuff, so they gonna have to end up dealing with the Filipino woman,
Right.
or they gonna have to end up dealing with the Chinese woman or the Korean woman just to get the chief things of life, right? And that's a commitment that now they have to that lady and their family, and they're now subjected not only to the environment in Hawaii, but the environment within their household. If you couldn't get the chief things of life like water and bread, clothing, in a house, how you think that lady's family gonna feel about you? It don't matter what you've accomplished, you're a bum to them.
Right.
And effectively, you'll end up being a pet to them. Oh, yes, my daughter, she has a black husband.
Yeah.
He's so nice, he treat her nice. That's what it is. You're a comfortable option for them. That's it. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't got no choice. You ain't got no choice.
Yep.
That's it.
Absolutely. And this goes into, as I'm hearing what you're saying, it makes me think of the fact that we don't have even a house to call our own.
Yep.
Because one of the things that you'll hear often in Hawaii, if you say anything counter to that propaganda, is go home. Why are you here? As if we're from America.
Yeah.
Right? Well, leave then if you don't like it, bruh.
That sound familiar.
Right.
That sound just like what
Redneck.
Esau be saying on the mainland.
Yep.
If you don't like, go back to Africa.
Right.
That's what they say here.
And
too.
you don't even own it.
Exactly.
All right. But the point is that we bring up the scripture that talks about even having a mean cottage is better than delicate fare in another man's house. Right? How wonderful would it be to have our own land to go back to?
Yeah.
We don't have that. We are the only people on the planet without that, proving that we're the children of Israel. That in itself proves that this book is about us. We are the wanderers of the earth.
Yep.
You can't even send us back to a definitive place without asking the white man, which tribe where should I go? Let me take a DNA test.
Yeah.
Oh, you're Zimbabwean and you go over here. Right? We don't even know. This proves that we are the people of the book, because as a part of our inheritance in the biblical times was having our land. But when we lost our identity, we also lost our land. All right? And what we are right now is pilgrims and strangers. Let's read that real quick in Hebrews. Hebrews 11. You want us to go back? Don't worry. A time is coming when we will go back.
Yep.
All right, but when we go back, things is going to change for you too, heathens.
11 and 13.
Yeah, but let me see. Hebrews 11. Yes, start at verse 13, yes.
The book of Hebrews, chapter 11 and verse 13. These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off.
So these all died in faith. It's talking about the foremothers and forefathers, right? Sarah, Abraham, Noah, right? That's who it's listing as you go up in the chapter. These all died in faith, having not having received the promises, right? Everything had not come to pass yet. The kingdom had not come, right? It says they saw it far off. We didn't even have there was no Israel during that time. There was no promised land. Well, there was a promised land, but had not come to it yet. But they had faith, right? That's what we're talking about. Go ahead, read.
And were persuaded of them.
That they believed them. Come on.
And embraced them.
Watch this.
And confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth.
And they confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. That's what it was just explained. That's the point I was making earlier when I said we are the true pilgrims and strangers and wanderers of the earth. We are. And we understand that now that we've come into this truth. Because without this truth, you're going to be like him. Talking about how wonderful it is, but not understanding why the other nations look at you and they get uncomfortable when they look at you.
Yeah.
You're going to be confused. I don't understand why. All right? It's because you're an Israelite. And you are not in your rightful place, dwelling among the heathen the way we have to, dwelling under the heathen the way we have to. But you have to know that so that you can recognize that you are a pilgrim and stranger, even in Hawaii. That's why it's high time for all you blacks and Hispanics that are amongst all the people here in the island to come out from among them and find your people. Because we're out here. And guess what? If we all came on one accord, we would have our own community. We wouldn't be so subservient to the degree that we are, because we're isolated right now. We're divide and conquer, right? Everyone is by themselves. And everyone is scared to unify.
It's built into the system in Hawaii to make sure that we don't unify. Right? You get too close to another brother, someone will be like, "Hey," you know what I mean, to make sure they checking up.
Almost physically pulling you away from the conversation.
Seen it a whole bunch of times.
Yeah.
Whole bunch of times. Like I remember one time we was talking to a brother. I don't know if you was there, right? But we was talking to a brother, and this white dude came out of nowhere. The brother was like, "Oh snap!" He was getting it, and this white dude came, "Hey, what's up, my Popolo friends?" And he was like, "Y'all got a cigarette?" And I was like, "Bro, don't do that. Don't do that." You know what I'm saying? And then it was just enough of a distraction for the brother to get caught up in something else. And that's how it rolls. That's how it rolls here. Whenever we decide to get together, the other nations come in and double check to make sure we're not plotting.
Yeah.
Make sure we're not unifying. Make sure we're not coming to our senses.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Yeah.
Right.
There's all kind of big distractions. Real quick, I brought this up to say y'all brothers before too, right? The Hawaii remind me of that movie Karate Kid with Jaden Smith. He get brought to a foreign land. He like, I hate it here, right? He getting beat up by the Chinese kids, right? But what makes his day? He find like a little Chinese master, right? Teach him the local culture, right? Enter a tournament, people clap for him, and he give him a little Chinese girl at the end, and now it's all good.
Damn.
A week ago, everybody hated your freaking guts. You think that changed?
Right.
You think that changed because you could fight?
Right.
You think that changed because you did one event that impressed somebody?
Right.
It don't change the way they feel. It's their spirit. That's it all.
Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. Keep reading.
Verse 14.
Yep.
For they that say such things declare...
For they that say such things, that you confess that you are a stranger and a pilgrim in the earth, read.
Declare plainly that they seek a country.
For that declare plainly that we are looking for a country. We are looking for our homeland. We don't want Hawaii. It's just where we live. It's just where we have to serve out our captivity. Trust and believe. This is captivity.
Yeah.
And if you understand the Bible, you understand that there was a group of people that would be scattered among all nations. And yes, that's why you're going to find us even in the Hawaiian Islands. Yeah. That's where you're going to find us in Papua New Guinea. That's where you're going to find us in the islands of Oceania, scattered amongst there. However we got there, slavery, military, work, whatever it is, that's God's spirit and prophecy coming to pass. Because we're in all your families and all these communities. Come on, we see
y'all.
We see us. We see us.
That extra dark baby that just
we see us.
Yeah.
Right? And for you locals that have these black babies, right? The child, the bloodline of Judah in your family, hey, do right by them. Why don't you tell them who they are? Why don't you show them who they are? You're not just a popolo. Yeah. You're not just a black person. Hey, you're an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. I mean, just tell them the truth. Yeah. How about that? Just tell them the truth. Go ahead, read.
On that same note, officer, right? And for all y'all brothers that's in those families and is wondering about yourself, come deal with us.
Right.
Come deal with us. Right. We'll tell you all about who you are in the scriptures.
Right.
Right? Because we know they not telling you.
It's fact.
They saying your father don't exist. Yeah. Your father was no good. Yeah. Your only good side is our side. That's what they telling you. And we know this for fact.
Look at Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Yep.
He's the poster child for Hawaii. He's black. His daddy is black.
Mm-hmm.
Guess most Samoans don't even know he's black. I remember we was talking to somebody, like, you know, The Rock is black. Huh?
Yeah.
Samoan. No, he's black. Now his mother's Samoan, but that's what you see.
Yep.
Right? But that other side is non-existent and wiped away. That is the typical story for a lot of Jake that's in the islands of Hawaii.
We've
Talking
been
about the local ones.
Yep. We've been here for 200 something years.
Right.
We've been here in the community for 200. I know it seemed like we just got here. We've been here since Kamehameha the First.
Yep.
Right. So we've been on the island.
Right.
And it ain't like we just been sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
We get married,
Yep.
have kids like we do everywhere.
Right.
And them kids is the seed of Judah.
And let's be clear, with us being in, since we've been here since the time of Kamehameha, we've been integral parts in pushing the society and civilization of Hawaii forward. We've come and put our hand to the plow, whether it be in the sugarcane fields, because a lot of times they act like we weren't in the sugarcane fields. We was in there too, all right? Ephraim, the Puerto Ricans, and some Jake. There's accounts of some brothers from Alabama being in the sugar in the fields as well. All right, we were in the fields too, but they have whitewashed and erased that history. All right, so now even the locals don't even know that history.
They'll come up to you, or they'll come up to you Puerto Ricans, right, and not tell you you're Puerto Rican, and just tell you how they was on the plantation, tell you how they had to pick the sugar cane, right? They're not gonna tell you the real history of how even while they was on the plantation, they still oppressed you.
Yep, they went on strike while you had to work what they were doing. They went on strike. All right, so these are the things that you'll learn in coming back to your rightful heritage, right? These are the things that you'll learn, and it's going to provide you with a sense of pride so that you don't have to walk with your head down when you're walking amongst the other nations. Because we see how brothers and sisters have to act when they're in their friends, their circle of friends.
Yeah.
They're almost ashamed because quiet is kept. No one might be saying anything about it, but everyone can see one of these things is not like the other, and you feel it. And we were doing even an interview with one of the young sisters on Big Island, and she was at the college, and she was giving that account, that exact account of how she felt uncomfortable in a lot of situations with her friends.
Yeah.
How did it make you feel like, let's just say hypothetically, somebody uses that word around you, and you're the only one that's black? How did that kind of, how did you feel about that? Do you kind of feel isolated in those moments?
Yeah, it kind of felt like I didn't matter. That just because like they didn't really care about me, and they say like, oh well, it's okay because like we're friends. It doesn't really matter. Like that's like I don't use it in like a rude way, but like if I ask them, oh, can you not use that, and they still use that, you're basically disrespecting me, So yeah, that I kind of, whenever someone like does that, I push them. I'm not friends with them anymore. Like that's when I know, like, oh, okay, you don't respect me as a person. I'm not gonna exactly.
Because they know to make you feel less than them and keep you down, but that's because you don't know who you are. But you got to come around your brothers and sisters to be built up and to be shown who you are, because like you said, the other nations, why would they give you the tools? What was that, Asada Shakur? Why would anyone give you what you need to overcome them? Right? And I want to put this in here too. All right? Because I know a lot of you locals watch us too, and you try to act like you don't know. We know you watch us too. So be clear, right? We're simply talking about unifying our people and building them up. You notice we haven't gone any further than that. All we're talking about is unifying our people, coming together in their true identity, keeping their laws, right, in the faith of Christ, knowing who their God is, all right? That's all we're talking about. I want to make sure that that's clearly stated, because you know how these people are. Yeah. They'll make it seem like we're trying to incite something. No, we're trying to incite unity and love for our own people, though, too. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? All right, I just want to put that in there because you know how they're trying to run with that. Like we're saying something that's actually bad when we want our people to be able to walk with their heads up, walk when they walking with their friends that are Filipino and Japanese and Chinese and what do they say, Portuguese or whoever it is, Hawaiian, that you say, yeah, but I'm here too. And yeah, I've been in the fields too. But you need to learn that history. You need to be taught. You need to come in. You have to, because they're not going to show it to you.
They're not.
We've been to Dole Plantation.
Mm-hmm.
They're not talking about any of your history there. All right, go ahead, read.
For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country. And truly.
Jump down to verse 16.
Verse 16. But now they desire a better country, that is in heaven.
I want everybody to understand that. When people talk about go back to where you've come from, we are not desiring any earthly place anymore. That time is done. We're desiring an heavenly kingdom now. That's what we're after. Right? So when we talk about coming back together and unifying, it's about understanding who we are and where we're headed. Where we're headed is an heavenly kingdom. Because we've already gone through all the curses. The time is short now. We're at the end. We're at the end of the story now. All right? So what comes next is an heavenly kingdom. You see this the plight of the world now. You see all the wars happening. You see all the fires and the earthquakes and the
natural disasters, blackouts,
all that
kind of
stuff,
phenomena,
all that stuff. You see that happening. All right, unless you live under a rock, pun intended.
Some people live under a rock.
Right, we live in Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Anyway, so read.
You got a million of them.
Yeah. Read verse 16 again for me.
Yes, sir. But now they desire a better country, that is in heaven. Wherefore God is not ashamed to be called their God. For he hath prepared for them a city.
He hath prepared for them a city. That them is you Israelites. You blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You that have been scattered in the diaspora of the islands of Oceania. That's who it is. That is the them. That is the them. All right. And that is the them. All right. Just so that you know that that's them. Just so you know that that's them. Jump down to verse 18.
Verse 18. Of whom it was said that in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
In Isaac shall thy seed be called. Right? Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Why is that important? Because I know a lot of you Christians out there be like, we be the seed of Abraham. No, the seed was called through Isaac, and then it went to Jacob and his 12 sons. So that's when we understand that this is talking about the 12 tribes of Israel that are scattered abroad. But the point is, we seek a better country now.
Yeah.
So we was talking earlier about this being delicate fare at another man's house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's just where we're serving out our captivity. When our king returns, we're seeking something heavenly. All right.
Y'all ain't tired of having 3 jobs?
Right.
To live in a 400 square foot apartment?
Damn, for $2,000 a month.
You know, like, and the thing is, like, it's not like we exaggerating or making it up. We talk to y'all.
Right.
Y'all see us.
Right.
We be like, hey man, come pull up this Sabbath, right? And they be like, oh yeah, I got a work commitment. I like, all right, come the next week. Oh yeah, I got an obligation. Like nobody else could take it. Nobody else taking it because they know you gonna take it.
Right.
They know you ain't got no option. If you want to pay that rent for that lease for that studio or whatever, then you gonna have to work on Saturday, bro. That's what they gonna tell you. But you need to come and get built up so that way you can have faith in the Lord like Daniel did.
Boom.
You can ask like Daniel did.
Yep.
And he was in hard bondage. Hard bondage. All right.
And not only when you ask, you can also see how the Lord looks out for his people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like he looked out through the whole scriptures. All right. Yeah. But
Brother,
that comes through faith.
They be like, oh, I can't do it. I'm in the military. Everybody's in the military, bro.
Right.
The hell?
Right.
Everybody. Like that's what being black in Hawaii is apparently, right? You in the military.
That's facts.
Come on, man.
That's
Stop
facts.
playing.
That is facts. All right. So, you got to ask yourself, so how do you survive then? How do you survive? All right, let's get Psalms 37, 23. Hold on.
What you looking for?
If it had not been for the Lord.
Oh, yeah. It was the 120 something you said.
Was it?
Yeah. Let me see.
Let me get Psalms.
It's like 130.
It might be 124 then. Let me see.
What is it?
If it's one something.
Yeah, 124 and 1.
There it is. Let's read that.
The book of Psalms, chapter 124 and verse 1.
So the statement is, or the thought now being, so then how do we survive if we are in such conditions, right? Captivity, oppression all over the place. We're even talking about oppression being in Hawaii, right? How do you survive? All right, you got to trust in the Lord because you are His people. Because if it was up to these other nations, this is what would happen. Read.
If it had not been the Lord who was on our side, now may Israel say, if it had not been the Lord who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick, when their wrath was kindled against us.
You see that? The scriptures say, if it had not been for the Lord that who was on our side, when men rose up against us, then they had swallowed us up quick. If it was not for the Lord, the other nations would have completely erased us off the planet already. So our trust and our faith has to be in the Lord. It can't be in nothing else. That's how we're able to survive. But you got to know who your God is. You got to know who your God is. And the only way you're going to be taught who your God is by coming back and being taught and learning. All right. So that's how we are able to navigate these waters.
Yeah.
Is by understanding who our God is and putting our trust and our faith in Him. Because if it was up to anybody else, we would have been wiped out.
It's not like all the other nations don't have the means to do it.
Absolutely.
It's not like they can't vaccine your behind. And Bill Gates saying he want to do it.
Right.
It's not like Bill Gates ain't got the pull.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's the Lord that's holding us down because we is chosen.
Absolutely.
It's the Lord.
That's the only way. That's the only way you're gonna make it. And they got to know which Lord.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Because we talked about the Solomon hair Christ. We started out this whole conversation, this whole episode talking about if you come with another Jesus and another gospel. So you got to know which God, which gospel, which Christ you serve.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as you say it doesn't matter, you're telling which one you serve. Not the one in the book, because He left us a description. He told us who He was for. He told us who He came for. He told us who He died for. You want to touch on that before we leave?
Who they died for?
Just in case. Let's get Acts 5. Just in case, because we reading about it's having to trust in the Lord for survival.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even in Hawaii, having to trust in the Lord. Let's get that real quick in Acts chapter 5 and start reading. Verse 30.
The book of Acts, chapter 5 and verse 30.
Uh-huh.
The God of our fathers raised up Jesus.
I want you to hear those possessive words. I know you Christians have never really read this book with a fine-tooth comb, but it says the God of our fathers, right? We just read in Hebrews where it said that it wasn't just Abraham, in Isaac shall thy seed be called. So Abraham had a bunch of children, but it already told you it was talking about Isaac. There's a very specific bloodline.
Yep.
And then it went from Isaac to Jacob. Go ahead, read.
Raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree.
Come on, watch this.
Him hath God exalted with His right hand to be a prince and a savior, forth to give repentance to Israel and forgiveness of sin.
Damn.
There you go. You can't get around that. So when we're talking about us having faith and seeking a better country, when we're talking about us being able to have faith in our God, is because that's what the scriptures say. This is the New Testament for all you Christians. You know, but Jesus. Yeah, we're reading about Jesus right here. It said him by name, right? Raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hung on a tree.
And you know what's crazy? You're going to read this. This is plain.
Yeah.
This is plain. Remember when I was first coming to the truth, and I was like, that's it, bro.
Yeah.
That's it. Nobody even got to break that down.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Y'all go to y'all pastors, and he got another spirit on him, or she got another spirit on him, and they going to finagle that.
Right.
They going to use white Christian words, like new terms and stuff like that. Then y'all not even going to be talking about the scripture in 5 seconds.
Right.
Right? When it's plain, right? He died for the nation of Israel. right? And it says our fathers, our fathers. Can we get that Exodus 3:15 real
sir.
quick?
Yes,
Get
sir.
Exodus 3:15.
The book of Exodus, chapter 3 and verse 15. And God said moreover unto Moses, thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel.
Get the 3:15 is good. I was looking at 6, but get 3:15 is good. Go ahead.
The Lord God of your fathers. The
Fathers, right? Go ahead.
The Lord God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, hath sent me unto you.
That's who the fathers are, right? So don't let no Christian Saint friggin' Dominic or whoever it is, you know what I mean? Don't let them get twisted. The Bible tells you exactly who the fathers are. All right?
Absolutely. So, hey, did you finish it out?
Read on.
And the God of Jacob hath sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generations.
Right. So, forever, he is known as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, even in 2025.
For how long?
Forever.
Ever.
Ever.
There it is. You already know. That's what it is.
Right.
Don't let a Christian with a different spirit and a different gospel confuse what's in the Bible.
Right.
It's in the Bible.
Right. We didn't write it. We're just reading it.
Yep.
All right. So you accept it or you accept white Jesus, Saltman head. All right. We'll post a picture for you.
Yeah, that picture. Yeah.
Because everybody y'all seen it. Because you know your Filipino neighbors got that up in their house. All right. Because that's like the Catholic image.
Yeah.
The main Catholic image. Some of you Ephraim Puerto Ricans too.
Man, y'all see that and they start crying.
Yeah.
They start crying.
Because when we go to the plantation, you see that image.
Oh, that's
in the Puerto Rican house.
In their house.
Yeah. As a part of the history account. All right. Let all that go. Your God looks like you. All right.
Right.
So, any final thoughts? We can wrap it up.
I enjoy this episode because I be how I be feeling.
Right.
You know how I be feeling, right?
Yeah.
But I just like to say it's important that y'all evaluate the things that y'all been hearing. You know what I mean? Go into the scriptures, find it, and look at your life.
Right.
Don't look at the weather.
Right.
Don't look at the background. Read between the lines of what this guy is saying. In the beginning of the video, he was like, oh, it's so great. I don't have to worry about police brutality and people robbing me or whatever. But then later on in the video, you let him keep talking. He talks about how his experiences is like, yo, it's the same spirit behind that's on the mainland. That's everywhere.
Right.
And I guarantee he wasn't talking about a white woman. I guarantee. Everybody thinks that their enemy is just white people, and that's it.
Right.
And that's why here on the island in Hawaii, y'all get thrown for a loop. Y'all be like, I didn't know other people felt like that. I didn't know other people would do this to me. Right? Come deal with your people, man. Come deal with your people so we can build. We understand each other's experience. Right? So let's come deal with each other. That's it.
That's fact. All praise to the Most High. Pray you enjoy this episode. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. You see the QR code in the corner. If you like this content, feel free to donate. All right? Feel free to donate so you keep this content and this truth flowing here in the islands of Hawaii. So with that, we'll see you on the next episode of Sayings of the Sea from your brothers in Hawaii. Say shalom.
Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models. Nation is you Nation is you.
And finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord. His word